about this event and I guess sort of what the message is tonight before we get up and talk?
Well, I think, it's an alumni. I think the Alumni Association's annual event, and I think anytime you talk to your folks and kind of give them the message, and especially with us just getting here, I think that's important for them to kind of know what we're about and what we're teaching our guys, how they're progressing. I think, that's kind of important right here before we get started.
And speaking of messages, what's been the biggest message to the team in your first year here at UAB as you've tried to kind of corral the troops and get everybody ready to go?
Gosh, if you simplify it down to one central theme, for us, really, a lot of it's just been hard work and effort and really understanding what that, because how we are in the weight room and our training and our nutrition, all that goes together. So, we had, I think we had to understand, the expectations we have in that area. And then, of course, you go through spring training and then you're right back to training. So, but they've really improved just to see these guys grow, see the changes in their bodies. It's been neat to watch.
So, let me kneel down here so you're looking up. So, I guess when you look at a group of guys like this, obviously the idea is to build the team back up, get them to a point where you guys are back in the running, Conference USA, bowl season, postseason. Do you feel like the guys are buying into that this early before you even get to fall camp?
I do. One of the things we said day one was, it's not a 3-year plan, it's not a 4-year plan. We got seniors, and they've worked hard to have a chance to win and go to a bowl. So we just, we want to win now. And our expectation is to win. That's what that's what we're used to doing. We know it's not going to be easy. There's everybody else. There's a lot of other teams saying the same thing. But I think believing in themselves, believing in their coaches. Do we care about them? Can they trust us? Can we trust them? I think all those things go together. And right now it's really been good to watch and fun to watch these guys. Like I said, changing their bodies, but also their belief system. And I think their confidence level is growing.
Now, I know it's still early in your career at UAB, but what would you say the biggest challenges for the transition from Jacksonville State to the Division I FBS level?
Just from a coaching standpoint, it's very similar. Probably the biggest difference in FBS and FCS is really just the scholarships. People ask me all the time, athletically, what's it like? Well, there's guys that have transferred down from FBS to FCS that were stars, and maybe they got in trouble or whatever. So there's some really great players. The depth is a little bit different. It's nicer to have those 22 extra scholarship players. But football-wise, it's very similar. Didn't move far away. I think a confidence standpoint, just the belief system that you talked about a minute ago. That's what our guys need.
There's a lot of talk about these super conferences, and you got the Big Ten, the Big 12. Everybody's jumping ship and going to another conference. How does that play a role with the Conference USA and the talk of possibly the Conference USA going away and going to a super conference? Does that worry you at all, or what's your opinion on that?
Sure. Yeah, I think anybody wouldn't be telling the truth if they didn't say, they do this job for a living and there's not some concern about what's going to happen. I would say we've got a great conference. After going to conference meetings, I really didn't know just how good a conference we were in. I'd seen them play, seen these teams, and boy, it's really impressive the job they do. So, it's probably those 5 teams, and we feel like we're the very next conference. But it's probably the financial part of it and what those guys bring in, maybe compared to a few of our conference and some others. There is a difference. So I think there's a concern, and hopefully just from the scholarship numbers and those things, we'll keep it equitable just because the competition and what's it's such a great game, and not just our game, but basketball, et cetera, and all these other sports. Hopefully we can keep that.
I know a big thing when you came in was talking about the improvement of the facilities. It's something that I know you're trying to work on. I know it's a process, but has there been any, have you guys made any progress on that at this point?
No doubt. I think the behind the scene things that I knew were so important, nutrition. I could, how much, our meal plan, paying for the May term, uniforms, video systems. We've got a new locker room, upgrading our fencing. It's just, there's a lot of money that's been spent. Now, I have some big projects down the road that I really want to see, but just our infrastructure is so much better in our guys' day-to-day life, and I think that's that belief of, people care. It is important. We want to do things first class, and I think that's why our recruiting has gone well up, what we did with, in the past and kind of where we're headed right now.
Awesome. And last question, how excited are you? Fall camp, what did I heard on the radio today, 69 days till football season starts.
Yep.
I mean, that's crazy. So it's getting closer. Your summer's almost over.
Yep.
I mean, how exciting is that, the anticipation for fall camp and getting into a grind every day?
I think for us, we need every second of every day to keep trying to, get stronger and faster, and we got guys that have just got here, so I don't want to rush it. I want those guys, to get as much as they can done, and then at the same time for us, it really never ends. It's a year-round process. Of course, the games is kind of why we do this, so, we're all looking forward to it.
I should ask one more question. Recruiting, are you confident in what you've recruited so far and kind of how that's been? I know that you kind of came into the game a little late.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we were able to fill the holes that we, I mean, it remains to be seen, but we went out and really got a bunch of older guys. We had some glaring needs on the offensive line and in the secondary, and I think we met those pretty well. Time will tell how these guys do, but they're in, taking classes, really assimilating well, and then, of course, next year, we're having great response so far. We know a lot of the folks around here, and so, so far so good.